After 11 years away, I flew home for Grandpa's memorial. Mom opened the door, but her new husband stood in the hall and said the house wasn't mine anymore. He had no idea Grandpa taught me never to lose the papers. He hit me before I even put my bag down. Not a punch. A slap. Hard across my left cheek, bourbon on his breath, satisfaction on his face. Welcome home, Rick slurred. My mother stood at the top of the stairs. She closed her bedroom door. I'd flown back to Ohio for my grandfather's memorial. 11 years away. 2 suitcases. One with clothes, one with legal documents. I hadn't come home to cry. I'd come because Grandma called and said 4 words that made my stomach drop. You need to see this. The house on Maple Street looked wrong the moment I pulled up. Dad's garden, gone. His basketball hoop, gone. The mailbox read Carlton now, not Matt. Inside was worse. Rick sat in Dad's recliner, reupholstered in camouflage. Deer heads where family photos used to hang. Confederate flag in the bathroom my father, 2 tours in Iraq, had tiled by hand. Look who finally showed up, Rick called out, not moving. The prodigal daughter, probably hoping for an inheritance. I didn't respond. I was already looking at the walls, the floors, the built-in shelves Dad had crafted himself, gone. Replaced with cheap particle board from Walmart. That night, after the slap, after Mom's door clicked shut, I didn't cry. I opened my phone. I photographed my face from 6 angles, the handprint still visible on my cheek. I filed a time-stamped incident report. Then I texted my assistant in New York. Contact Morrison and Associates first thing Monday. Property dispute, hostile environment, everything. Then I went to see Grandma. She had a lawyer waiting. Here's what Rick never understood about me. I'm not just a woman with a corporate job. I'm a forensic auditor. A military brat raised by a man who said, measure twice, cut once. Read everything before you sign. And Claire, always keep the originals. I kept the originals. When I co-signed the mortgage at 19 to help Mom keep the house after Dad died, I insisted on one clause, a military service clause. Any transfer of ownership required my written consent if I was on active duty. I never gave consent. I never even knew Mom had signed the deed over to Rick until this weekend. Rick thought he owned everything. He'd sold Dad's Purple Heart for $50, pawned his combat knife, ran a garage sale through my childhood bedroom. He'd taken out a home equity loan, forging Mom's signature, and lost it all at a casino. He thought the quiet girl who left for New York was gone for good. He was wrong. Monday morning, I sat across from Judge Harrison in a courthouse suit that cost more than Rick's truck. Miss Matt. The judge reviewed my binder, the forged signatures, the bank withdrawals, the photos of my bruised face. These are serious allegations. Every claim is documented, Your Honor. Injunction granted. Property frozen. Rick legally barred from the house. I drove to Maple Street with a sheriff's deputy behind me. Rick answered the door gray-faced and shaking. His lawyer had already called. He knew what was coming. I walked past him into his office, Dad's study, and opened the filing cabinet he thought was locked. Inside, pawn shop receipts, consignment records, a paper trail of every heirloom sold, kept for tax purposes. He'd documented his own theft. Those are private! Rick lunged forward. Deputy Martinez caught him by the arm. Sir, step back. Rick's face went purple. This is my house. She walked away. She abandoned this family. She co-signed the mortgage, Morrison said quietly from the doorway, and she never released that claim. Ever. Rick froze. I watched it land, watched 11 years of stolen comfort collapse behind his eyes. Check page 4, I said. The conditional transfer clause. Your lawyer should have found it before you signed anything. He grabbed the document, read it, read it again. The color left his face completely. He looked up at me. You knew. This whole time, you knew. I picked up my bag. My grandfather taught me to read everything before I sign it. I headed for the door. Enjoy the next 48 hours, Rick. They're the last ones you'll spend in my father's house. I stepped into the sunlight. The deputy's radio crackled behind me. And somewhere in the house, I heard Rick finally understand. He hadn't driven me away. He'd just given me time to build the case. But what I hadn't told anyone yet, not Morrison, not Mom, not even Grandma, was what I'd found hidden inside the walls. Full story on the channel linked below.